Thank you for tuning in for today's episode of the Rice Crypto Show. I'm your host, Rice, and today I am joined by Fred Chenet. He is the CEO of Atari, and I'm talking about that Atari. I actually grew up playing the Atari 2600, so I was really looking forward to doing this interview. And how it came about was really interesting. Some of you might have watched my interview with Charlie Lee, and I will have that linked down below and above. And during that interview, we had discussed a partnership between Litecoin and Atari. And that's kind of what led into this particular interview. So today, in this interview, we're going to be talking about Atari, a little bit of the history. We're going to be talking about the Atari token, their new gaming system, the VCS, which is the video computer system, and much more. Now, this just happens to be your first time ever watching any of my videos. I do encourage you to explore my channel. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos as they come out. Follow me on Library where I post exclusive content, and you can also now support me on Patreon. I will include links down below, and we're just going to go ahead and get right into today's video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show today is Fred Chenet, who is the CEO of Atari. Fred, I appreciate you coming on the show today. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm good, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm good.
And I appreciate you doing this interview, man. I know that somebody connected this after I did the interview with Charlie Lee, which was right after they had made the announcement with the partnership with Atari, which we'll get into. But for people who are unfamiliar, as the CEO of Atari, can you kind of give a little background on who you are aside from the Atari thing, and then kind of get into how you got into Atari?
Yeah, okay. I'll do both at the same time. So initially, I was an investor, banker I was advising a company. I was part of a team advising a company in France. It was a video game company in late 90s. And that company ended up buying the Atari brand from Hasbro. So I joined that company. I left the bank. I was at Trésor. I left the bank. We renamed the company Atari. I moved to the US in 2004. I was the executive producer for what became Atari, right? The new Atari, organizing the projects, raising money, funding developers, and making sure the publishing team would release the product. We all left in 2007, and because the hedge fund became the largest shareholder of Atari. The name of the hedge fund is Blue Bear, was Blue Bear, because late 2012, they went into liquidation, the hedge fund itself, and they put Atari into bankruptcy in the US, the Chapter 11 of 2013. So I had always kept the contact with the company, and they called me back. I mean, the hedge fund called me back and said, we want out, so can you just come back and buy us out quickly, protect us, because it was a lot of issues. So I came back early 2013. The company was doing 1 million euros of revenue. It's public domain because the company was listed. And the company had more than 30 million euros of debt. So 1 million euros of revenue, 30 million euros of debt. It took us basically 2 to 3 years to exit bankruptcy, survive, repay the debt. I was able to do that late 2016. And after that, we were on more solid footing, so to say, to reboot the company and the brand. So I've always loved the brand. I've been with the brand for I'm from a business standpoint since at least 2000. Mm-hmm. What we did, and that's what we're doing today, because it's always very funny, when I go through immigration, when I used to go through immigration, because now I have the global entry, people, the guys would say, okay, what are you doing here? Why are you here? I said, video games. Okay, which company? Atari. And it was always the same thing. It was just like, oh, wow, Atari, the company from, yeah, that's what. And then everyone was scratching their heads, and they would say, the second thing was just like, what are you guys doing today?
Right.
I'm going to answer the question now. So because we just rebooted the company, we do games, and games it's funny because not really funny, because early 2000 or mid 90s we were just quite comparable to Activision and Electronic Arts. Today, we are just much bigger.
Right.
So what we do strategy games on mobile and PC, especially Roller Coaster Tycoon. This is what has helped the company to move forward, to turn around. And now we're adding more types of mobile games and online games. So that's one thing, video games. Second thing is, of course, licensing. We don't make a lot of money with T-shirts, but we do make a lot of money with toys and arcade gaming machine, home arcade gaming machines. The third thing we do is the Atari Video Computer System, the new computer system. It's not a console, it's a computer system. It's a PC.
That's the VCS, right?
Yeah, but the VCS, the Atari Video Computer System. And then as part of the other, blockchain things, we are just rebooting and launching our own token. So games, licensing, the video computer system, the VCS, and the token.
Right. Okay, cool. And I really appreciate you explaining it that way. And one, I'm a little bit older and I actually owned an Atari 2600 and grew up on this system. So just the branding of Atari alone, like you were mentioning with the licensing, it's infamous. It's people know what it is. And like you were saying, what is Atari doing today? And I had heard about the Atari token. And before we get into that, what I thought was really interesting is how, since you've gotten back involved with Atari in 2003, since the bankruptcy, or 2013, and since the bankruptcy, how the company has turned around. Now, you guys are now very profitable and moving forward, which I think is, commendable. So I just wanted to say that I thought it was awesome that you and the rest of the team there have taken this company from bankruptcy to where we are now. And a couple years ago, you guys launched the Atari token. And I know that at first you were collaborating with somebody else with the token. Something happened with that group of people you were working with, and you got the license back to do it yourself. I'd like for you to explain the idea behind what the Atari token is going to be that you're envisioning.
So it is, very simple. It's not a technology play. Let me start by what it is not. It's not the technological play. It's not like we are saying, hey, we're going to have a big platform, something new, brand new, that's going to bring the blockchain, to the next level. I'm a big believer, and I do support a lot of initiatives in the blockchain space. And I think today, when you look at the big trends, if you look at at the video game industry, right, we are already decentralized, and it's becoming more and more obvious every day. So, to give you an example, if you take Roller Coaster Tycoon Touch, the mobile version of it, we have the studio working on it is in Montreal, Canada, testing. It's sometimes in Montreal, sometimes in India, sometimes somewhere else. You have animators that we can hire, or the studio can hire all over the place. Thailand, you have talent in Korea. You're gonna have more people coming from other countries, like in Africa, because we're gonna get an internet connection. So our industry is strongly, so we say, definitely on the path to decentralization. So I have always thought very interesting just to try to create the currency of reference, the utility token of reference for the industry. And I think that with the brand, we can do it. So people would come to us initially and say, oh yeah, you're going to do a token for transactions inside the games. And I've always answered, yes, but you're missing the point. The point is, you see today some opportunities, but the opportunity is much, much bigger, because outside of the games, you have a lot of things. So leave aside for a second, us paying an artist in Thailand or in Korea. You have today a big business, which is I buy a game, I create an avatar, I bring it to level 30, 45, and then I sell it. So for us, in the USA and Europe, it's not a lot of money, but if you come from countries where making $150, $200, $250 a week, that makes a difference. I can tell you, with the internet connection, you're going to see a big business coming. And some people may say, this is crazy stupid. Why am I going to buy an avatar? It doesn't make any sense. Think about books, right? I read books. I don't have the time to read books. I don't have the expertise to write the books. And frankly, I'm like, it's better for me to buy a book. It's the same for avatars because I want to keep playing with my friends. They have time to grind, they have the money or whatever, but I don't have the time, right? So just like I buy a book to have a nice and enjoyable experience and I can discuss about it with friends, I'm going to buy an avatar level 30 because all my friends are at level 30, but I don't have the time because I just left college and I no longer have
Right.
the time to play X hours a week. So this is a big business. You have used games. They're going to be sold on the blockchain. So you're going to have a lot of these businesses that are not there yet. And I think this is where the opportunity is in the video game industry. But I've always give that analogy with the books because, in fact, this is my wife who came to me one day and said, this is completely stupid. And I said, maybe not. Think about the books. You're buying a book because you don't know how to write it and you want to enjoy it. Same with video games.
Well, isn't it? I mean, I did kind of hear something about the idea that the envisionment of the future for the Atari token was that it would be used amongst multiple different platforms, not just
Yes.
Atari. Isn't that the goal? Like, kind of like have like a universal game token in a way?
A token of reference, definitely. Yes. So initially, you know, when we started 2 years ago, we had teamed up with a team and they were trying just to create the token, but also create the one and only platform on which the Atari token could and would be used. For many reasons, it did not succeed. So this is why I decided and I pushed and I was able to get the rights back. Right now, it's really a token of reference, which can be used on as many platforms as possible. So on the website, you'll see, I'm not saying every day we're signing up partnerships, but we're signing partnerships very, very regularly. But 2 more are going to be added this week. And it's a snowball effect, right? So we are running as fast as possible to have the biggest adoption level for the utility token.
Okay, that's cool, and that makes sense. And I'm definitely gonna like keep paying attention to what's happening so I can talk more about the developments as things happen. Now, one of the other things I wanted to ask you about was the actual Atari VCS game system. What can you tell me about it? I mean, I do know a little bit. I know that you can make games and put those games out. And it's not just a gaming console; it is a computer system.
It's a computer system. We thought a lot about the name. Initially, people wanted to call it a console, but when you call something a console, people are just comparing it to the Sony one, the Microsoft, and
Right.
look, they invested billions of dollars. I'm not going to tell you, oh yeah, I took the company with 1 million euros of revenue and 30 million euros of that, and a few weeks, a month, or years later, I can come up with a multi-billion-dollar console. No, it's a computer system, video computer system, but we've made it so it's very flexible. First, it's a very flexible machine. You can add the memory you want. It's Linux-based. You can install the operating system you want. That's the first thing. Second, it's quite cheap. I think that an 8 giga computer for $300, to make it simple, in that range. I think it's based on the AMD processor, the Ryzen one. So I think it's an interesting deal. And the vision, but with a small v, right? The vision was the following. There's no one today in the living room who has been able to sell a computer system that would also combine some elements of a console, because we have an Atari environment in it. So it is a computer system with a curated environment, just like in a console, based on Linux. So no one has been able to really, own that place. And what we are trying to do with the Atari video computer system is just to offer a computer for the masses and for the living room. Personally, I'm tired of every time, I go on Amazon, I'm just like arrow down, arrow down, arrow. That's just no.
Right.
So I want to be able to play the Steam games, on the couch. And right now, yes, I could bring the computer into the living room. Or my kids could do it, but if I were to do it, I would say, no. I don't want to see that in the living room, especially, so. I think it's really, it's a mass market play, so to say, and we're trying to go as mass market as possible, because I believe that this is the DNA of Atari. And with a computer that is, a good deal, $300, 8 giga, and you can just, upgrade it. You can add a lot of memory. So I think there's something here.
Right.
we'll see.
Well,
The answer is coming soon. And
as somebody who
we've pre-sold 10,000 units of those, and I really want to thank the backers at Indiegogo, because they've been very patient, and we have been here from the get-go. So we have a very unique machine for them, because it's a collector's edition. That's pretty cool.
very cool. And as somebody who's older and seen gaming systems kind of be created almost, my biggest gripe was the fact that they're consoles. You can't upgrade them. You just got to get the next new system and spend that much more money. So I've always thought about the idea of these just being computers that you could upgrade, which makes so much more sense, and it adds more longevity to the whole entire system. So I think that's cool. And when do you expect for it to be available to the general public?
So we were supposed to be in the stores in March, and of course with the virus, that plan basically took a huge hit. We've not made a formal announcement with a given date. We know it's going to be 2020. Sometimes I receive Twitter messages and people asking me where's the VCS. And China is not back to normal yet, right? In terms of supply chain, and we are dying at least in February, March, going to the factory.
Yeah,
not our factory, but in general, right? So we're shooting, and we're going to have it for 2020. The exact date to be announced when the supply chain is really back to normal conditions of pressure and temperature. But just to give you a sense, still today, and these are conversations we were having even this afternoon, you place an order for some parts and you think you're going to have the parts, but then you get a call saying, you know what, if you want the parts on that day, you have to pay a little bit more. You say yes or you say no. If you say no, maybe the following week you're going to have another call saying, you know what, I got some good news for you. You're going to have them in any case. And sometimes it's really not possible to have them. So far we have the parts, but it's only until you have all of them in the warehouse that you can just give the final date. But it's going to be 2020. Also, we are looking, at shipments. There's a lot of we are not the only ones trying to catch up.
That's good. No, I totally understand. I appreciate you being honest. I mean, with everything that's going on, there's no reason for people to think that business should be as usual. So thanks for clarifying that. And now to kind of talk about the Litecoin partnership, for people that did watch my interview with Charlie Lee, and if you haven't watched it, I'll have that link down below and above so you can check it out. But one of the things that I learned was that you guys would allow people to use Litecoin to purchase the VCS, and they would actually get a discount on that as well. So I'd like to know a little bit more about how the partnership came about, and what other use cases that Litecoin will come into play, in addition to being able to get a discount on the system itself.
Sure. So as a general note, I'm a big supporter and big believer in blockchain. For many, many reasons. You'll find them when we release the white paper for the token. So it's very natural for me just to try to help the other cryptocurrencies, because at the end of the day, I think there's not going to be one crypto. There's going to be multiple cryptos, right? If you look at the United States before the Civil War, you didn't have one US dollar. You had plenty.
Yes.
US dollars. So everyone
plenty of banknotes.
Exactly, banknotes. So I think at the end of the day, you're going to have like big platforms. Each of them will have their own crypto or utility tokens, however you want to call that. But the most important will be the interchangeability and the exchangeability of the tokens. So for me, it was quite natural on the one end to say, hey, I have no problem, because at the end of the day, Litecoin is money. It's fiat, so we can sell it and reuse it. I was very happy to not only allow for the Litecoin to be used as a way to purchase the token first, the Achari token, and also to purchase Achari products. So we started with the VCS because it was really making sense. We're trying to have as much information and application and dApps, whatever, available in the store. We have a partnership with our shareholders in Animoca, which is a company out of Hong Kong. We're trying to bring more content, as many games on the blockchain that could be here. So it was making sense to start with the VCS, but We have like a series of additional products that will be in the store of the Litecoin Foundation and available for people to buy and to exchange against the Litecoin. So it's one of many many products, and frankly, I have no problem in general saying, hey, you want to buy the VCS with Litecoin, is a discount. You want to buy it with the Bitcoin, is a discount. Doesn't, for me, it's not a problem because we're selling direct, so we're saving the fees of the retailers. So
yeah, that makes a big difference.
No, it's you can view it as a marketing cost. Don't have to sell it through the retailers or through distributors. So for us, it's a no-brainer to say you buy direct from us. If you come from this region, you're going to have a 5% discount. If you buy with the Litecoin, doesn't matter.
Okay. Now, is there at this time is Litecoin?
It makes complete business sense, and on top of it, it's something dear to my heart and to the heart of the team. So, promoting crypto and blockchain, all for it.
No, I mean, I'm glad to hear it, man. I'm really super glad. That's I was excited when I found out that you guys were taking it as a payment or as a source of payment, because it just brings more use case and validity to what we're trying to do. And so are there any other cryptocurrencies right now that we can use to buy the VCS in advance? Or
we're just adapting the store. In fact, for the Authority token, you can buy with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and of course the Litecoin, as you said.
Okay.
And right now, so we've announced Litecoin for the VCIs, and we're going to add more and more cryptocurrencies. It's not really a question of, do we want to do it? Yes, we want to do it. It's more, okay, let's implement that. And you just want to make sure that, you have all the KYC in. So it takes a few.
Well, I'm definitely excited about this. And like I said, I'm going to be trying to pay attention to everything. I guess before we do wrap this up, was there anything that I didn't bring up that you wanted to mention?
No, it's, at the end of the day, it's really, it's quite a journey. And we want to be assured that, we're trying to do as much as we can. It's very funny. I have a joke in French when I say, it's like the French national soccer team, right? You have a coach, but you have 50 million people in France who want to be the coach, but there's only one job. And I think it's a little bit the same with Authority. So, and that I respect. And I appreciate that you have a lot of people who would say, you know what, I can be that doesn't have to be CEO. I want to be part of the team. Yeah, but right now we can't hire everyone. And we know that everyone comes to the brand with, their own history, their own souvenirs. When I do licensing deals in Hollywood, there's always someone in the room that says, oh, Authority, that game. And sometimes I'm like, which game? Do we really own it? But it's an Authority game. And everyone, this is what is great with the brand, is that everyone has their own memory. Everyone can tell you, oh, I have played Adventure for 5 months in a row. I have played Agent X or, Night Driver. Everyone has their favorite game. So that's pretty cool.
Okay. I got you. That's cool. Well, man, Fred, I really honestly appreciate you taking the time to do this. And hopefully we can do this again. If you could just bear with me just 1 second, I'm going to wrap things up. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have links down below for everything we talked about. So you can check out Authority's website, also the interview that I did with Charlie Lee. If this is your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to explore my channel. And if you like what I'm doing, you can support me by subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing. Check out my library channel where I post exclusive content, and you can now support me on Patreon, and I will have links down below. And as always, I encourage you to be the change by practicing change.